I'm excited now. I was a little discouraged.
Welcome back, everyone. After making my easy flannel and fleece baby quilt, I started wondering, can you use Minky Dot instead of fleece and still use the same quick sew and turn method? Well, come along with me and I'll show you exactly how it went. Share the challenges that I ran into and how to get around them. And then at the end of the video, I'll give you the pros and cons of working with Minky Dot as I honestly see them. Now let's get started. For this blanket, I'm using 1 yard of this adorable A.E. Nathan flannel and 1 yard of coordinating Minky Dot fabric. The flannel measures 45 inches wide, while the Minky is 60 inches wide. I found both fabrics at my local quilt shop. I'll leave links in the description below if you'd like to purchase from the shop or directly from A.E. Nathan. Just like in my flannel and fleece tutorial, the link is down below, we'll begin by squaring up or evening up the flannel. Even though it came directly off the bolt, it still needs to be trimmed. We've already removed the selvage edges, and I'll speed up the camera and just talk you through very quickly what's happening here. You'll fold the fabric edges, selvage edge to selvage edge, smooth it out, then fold it again, and then line it up on your cutting mat. Trim off the rough edges by using a clear ruler and your rotary cutter. It's really a quick and easy process. You will do that on both ends. Then unfold the fabric and fold it in the opposite direction to trim away the uneven selvage edges. If you'd like a more detailed explanation of this process, I'll link the flannel and fleece baby quilt tutorial down below. Now it's time to move on to the Minky. We fold the Minky fabric in half, selvage edges together, and then place the flannel on top. We need to make sure there aren't any ripples at the fold. We'll place the flannel on top and we extend the flannel fold slightly over the fold of the Minky. Because the Minky is much thicker, this little adjustment helps compensate for the extra bulk in the fold and gives you a more accurate cut. But honestly, with Minky, there is so much movement. If I had known that, I would have opened this up, laid it on the floor, and put them right sides together with the flannel on top, and then cut around the flannel. As you can see, I'm using the little lint roller to get rid of all the extra fuzzies. Minky is fuzzy. Now I'm opening both fabrics up and placing them right sides together with a flannel on top. I take a few minutes to smooth everything out before I start pinning. But now this is where I noticed my first major difference. I originally tried pinning only around the edges, and that was a complete failure. The Minky shifted far too much. Instead, I started pinning in the center. From there, I worked diagonally toward each corner, placing pins every few inches. After securing the diagonal marks, I pinned from north to south, then east to west. Finally, I filled in all the remaining areas and finished by pinning around the outside edge. Now, I left a 6 to 7 inch opening along one side. You'll need that later to turn the blanket right side out. The extra pinning took much longer than I expected. With fleece and flannel, those fabrics naturally cling together, so this step simply isn't necessary with fleece and flannel, but Minky is a completely different experience. Now that everything is pinned, I'm going to roll this together. I don't want any more shifting to happen with this piece of fabric. I'm going to roll it and fold it. so that it can be carried to the sewing machine. Now, I'll be sewing this together using Coats & Clark dual duty thread, a ballpoint needle, and a generous 5/8 inch seam. I'm also increasing my stitch length a little, and the white thread will disappear nicely into the loft of the Minky, making the stitch nearly invisible. Now, as you begin sewing, you'll notice another difference. Instead of simply feeding the fabrics through the machine, you'll need to gently bring the Minky to meet the edge of the flannel. The Minky wants to stretch and move as you sew, that it seems to grow, creating a little bulge. If you can see the bulge, when I lay the flat flannel down, the bulge sticks out. So I'm going to go ahead and unpin this and then lift. There we go. Lift high. The higher the bulge, the higher the lift. To get that fabric to ease in, the feed dogs will just ease that right in for you. Let me turn the camera to give you a side view of that. Okay, I want you to see there's a little bit of a loop right there. I'm going to hold it in the air and let the feed dogs pull that in. You'll notice that the Minky does not exactly meet the flannel, and that has a lot to do with my pinning fiasco and how Minky is just a fabric that moves. I'm using the flannel, which I know is square, as the guide to sewing this blanket together. So it's all sewn together now. I just need to take out these extra pins that I had put in. I don't want them to end up on the floor. So now I need to start at the opening, and I'm going to cut in and cut down to about a 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch. Cut these seams out. Now when I get to a corner, I just go straight off, come straight back in, and then kind of flip that sharp piece off. There we go. Let's turn this now. And you just stick your hand in and go to an opposite corner, going to the left, stick my middle finger in, kind of tuck it in and grab it and just pull everything through. Oh, this is very forgiving. This is the easiest corner I've done in a long time. I just pushed with my middle finger and it just pushed right out. Let me try down here. Well, this is one thing I like about Minky. It makes a good corner. What a cute little blanket this is going to make. Then we'll, and it is nice. It's nice. Let me show you how to finger press roll these edges together and pin. It looks like it's a push and pull method, and it looks like it's going to be just as easy as the corners. Wasn't happy to start with. I thought, oh no, this is gonna not look good, but I'm really liking this. And we'll do some minimal quilting on this with the machine. I'm excited now. I was a little discouraged, but I'm excited now. Okay, we're at the opening now, so just fold both raw edges in toward the inside and evenly pin them closed. Now I use a little bit of the push-pull method right before the opening, so you push and pull and pin that in place. Then you can take your time to evenly fold those pieces in and get them even and straight. And I think you'll find that it looks good. You won't even be able to tell where the opening was. So I'm folding the flannel in and the Minky in. Now you've got to be careful because you don't want to get too happy and shove one or the other in too far or leave one or the other out too far. So just take your time and check the opposite edge to make sure your fold is coming out even. I have one more pinch and roll to do, and I put a lot of pins. This isn't something that I take lightly. I really want this to be a nice edge. So I'm going to start right here. I'm going to put this under my presser foot. Sewing machine goes up to a 5.0 stitch. I'm going to use a 4.0 top stitch. I don't want to have a bunch of stitches, like a smaller stitch length. I don't want to have a bunch of them on the edge because that might make the edge curl. So I'm going to drop my presser foot, and I'm using this clear portion as my guide. And just start sewing. All right. Isn't that a nice professional looking corner and a professional looking stitch? You can't really even see that I'm using white thread in the bobbin. Pretty happy with how this project turned out, but it needs a little bit of ironing to iron down these edges, and then we'll put marks on the back of the Minky. We will use the Minky dots and we'll just do simple straight stitching. So we'll start right here. We'll stitch from here to here. And then we'll move down and stitch from here to here. I'll show you that in a minute. But next I need to iron the edge. Back from the ironing board, and it looks so much better. The ripples on the edges are gone. But as you can see, this flannel, if it were to be washed, is going to release and just separate from the Minky. So we need a little bit of machine quilting. How I will do that is I will use my long ruler. I'm going to place my ruler. It's going to be about 6 inches down from the top. And I'm going to move that to every 6 inches. Now we need to place a pin going back this way. So we will quilt 6 inches right here, 6 inches right here, 6 inches right here. Now we're going to use the 3-inch mark that goes right across here and place it on top of the pin heads. And this one's on the 6, this is on the 1, so we'll place this one on the 3-inch mark.
So 3, 9, 15.
I'm just placing pins where I think I want to stitch. You can stitch however you would like. You can make waves. You can make straight stitches. You just avoid a square or a circle or a closed heart. Anything closed, I don't recommend that. Now let's do a little bit of quilting here. I'll use a longer stitch length. I'll start at this pin. Take that out, just kind of eyeball it, and then I'll just drop my feed dogs right where the pin was, and then just start stitching. I'll take a few stitches, then a few back stitches using a 4.0 stitch. Then I will stitch in a straight line down to that pin and take a few more back stitches.
The pin that I'm shooting for, I'm going to take a couple of stitches, back stitch, and then just go straight. Check underneath to make sure that everything is flat underneath. And then just hit the steam, hit the gas, and just stitch till you get to the pin. We'll remove the pin, eyeball where it was at, now back stitch. All right, lift your needle and your presser foot, and you're ready to move to the next pin. Now, I don't cut the threads here. I come back and cut them later. I go to the next pin, put my finger there, drop the presser foot, make sure the thread is behind the presser foot. Take a few stitches forward, a few stitches back. I'm eyeing my needle, my pin, not my needle. I'm eyeing the pin that I want to go to. Got my eye on it. I'm going to let go to release a little bit of that ripple. But I have my finger where the pin was. Back stitch, pick up your needle, pick up your presser foot, and go to the next one. Okay, I'm starting on the second row of stitches. There's 2 lines of quilting right here, and then this line of quilting from here to here will be in between those 2. As we move across the quilt or the blanket, we have to roll this piece and stick it underneath. I'll show you how that works.
So every time I finish a line of quilting, I go ahead and I get the thread pushed behind the presser foot. Then you just roll the excess of the quilt to move. That helps move you to the next pin. Now, after you're finished quilting, unroll it and start clipping all the threads on the front and on the back.
The stitching on this blanket is so random and spaced out so well that it will keep the 2 pieces molded together and be a great blanket for baby. This is what it looks like on the back.
So, would I say this Minky and flannel version is just as easy as the flannel and fleece blanket? Honestly, no, not even close. The extra pinning, the shifting fabric, and learning how to manage the Minky definitely makes this a more advanced project. If you're brand new to sewing, I would recommend starting with my flannel and fleece baby quilt first. But if you've completed a few sewing projects and you're ready to stretch your skills, I think you'll really enjoy making this one. It was really good to have you on my side of the mountain. I hope you'll come again soon. Bye.